Hi, and welcome back. This video explores how we handle project risks. This has grown significantly in importance as society is increasingly characterized by a growing number of serious risks. The video will guide you through the risk analysis and strategies to ensure your project's viability. Let's get started. The initial analysis and work on the business case, the baseline and the goals and plans can be seen in other videos on this channel, and it's covered in detail here, along with all the other project management topics needed to do a proper job. The link is below. Risk management is part of the initial planning as well as part of an ongoing activity throughout project implementation. After the approval of the project and the initial risk assessment, we need to expand the risk analysis and risk management strategies in the planning phase. It's important to divide risks into two categories. Inherent risks are the built-in risks regarding functions of systems and structures when they are designed. Residual risks are risks that remain when inherent risks have been addressed with resilience treatment relating to their very design and substance. Residual risks are then treated with security measures. Most external risks are difficult to deal with actively as they are inherent in the functions of society and outside our direct influence. All we can do as project managers is accept them and adapt to them. However, some residual external and intentional risks can be affected indirectly by engaging in communication with the actors behind them. When it comes to internal risks, our chance to actively engage in risk management is much higher. These are under the direct influence of the project manager and the steering committee. It almost always pays to treat risks numerically. By quantifying risks when they are assessed, they can be compared, and it's easier to expose them to dialogue about their treatment. A risk is therefore defined as the probability that a critical event can occur multiplied by the consequence it has in relation to financial, ecological, or human implications. More on that later in this video. In the risk analysis and assessment, we often see that PESTEL analysis and SWOT analysis are applied to assess threats in the surroundings and internal weaknesses. Using these, each provide an overview of potential risks to be addressed and can provide valuable insight into the need for action. However, let's for now concentrate on the internal risks with an archetypal waterfall approach. Among internal risks, a large part of them can be addressed directly and actively by intervening in poorly thought-out conditions and procedures. These internal conditions can unfold in all phases of the project and should be treated first for inherent risks and subsequently for residual risks. Inherent risks relate to the design of the relationship between the project and the host organization at different management levels. Therefore, the host organization needs to be optimized to handle the project. This is primarily done within the financial, organizational, and professional parameters of the host organization. You should ask yourself whether powerful stakeholders can undermine the official goals and objectives, whether vague plans and insufficient authorized approval negatively may increase participant opt-out, and whether lack of resources and skills recognized only too late can jeopardize benefit realization, and so on. To summarize, eliminating design flaws of inherent risks in systems and structures under which the project operates in the host organization has to do with four major topics. It could involve the inability or unwillingness to integrate the project into financial systems, communication systems, decision-making systems, and planning systems. The residual risks are not directly part of the design of the host organization serving the project, but may nevertheless occur. These are intentional and random risks, and you should ask yourself what unintended critical events could occur. It's whether estimations turn out to be unrealistic, whether key employees may resign, whether delays occur due to internal workflow changing, and so on. As mentioned, two elements of risk assessment, probability and consequence of a critical incident, are the basis for further work. Data and conditions is therefore needed in order to strengthen risk management. For each significant risk in the project, we must assess in advance what can be done to reduce the probability and/or consequences of critical incidents. Once the inherent risks have been addressed with resilience treatment, the residual risks must be addressed with security measures in the form of either preventive or mitigating actions. As we saw earlier, residual risks are therefore risks that remain and cannot be eliminated by resilience system treatment. The two fundamental risk strategies therefore need to be applied to these. To address residual risks, they need to be assessed in advance, as well as actively managed in plans relating to the two strategies. We can either try to prevent the probability of a critical incident occurring, or we can try to mitigate the consequences once the incident has hit the project. With a preventive strategy and a Plan A, we strengthen our position by being proactive in processing the risk in advance before the critical incident could occur. This is done with barriers and controls designed to protect the project. With a mitigating strategy and a Plan B, we strengthen our position by entering in advance into agreements and counteraction measures which will be implemented if, and only if, a critical incident occurs. When processing residual risks, we must assess the probability and consequence of each risk and calculate a risk number for each. This is done in a matrix to establish an overview as a basis for dialogue between key stakeholders. Contrary to what is seen elsewhere, the position of this video is that any risk with severe impact should be treated with a preventive strategy and a Plan A, regardless of whether the probability is high, medium or low. With some minor risks that only need to be monitored, once this is done, we enter into a dialogue about how each significant risk is handled in detail. After the analysis of proposed risk treatment, we reassess the risks. Having done this, they are now ready to be either accepted or rejected by the steering committee and the project owner according to their risk appetite. Should risks be rejected, the project must be changed according to new standards. You should ensure that the project's risk profile never exceeds the risk appetite of decision makers. The risk analysis and strategies are closely linked to the stakeholder analysis and strategies for stakeholder communication. Key stakeholders can possess serious threats to the project should they not be addressed in the right way with a thorough dialogue. This topic is covered in my book and in other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon on this channel for even more project management videos.